So I'm Sam Wright. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and I entered Pillar to Post, which got into the short film documentary section.
Yeah. And again, if you just want to tell me, how did the project come about?
So I had so my great grandma was had gypsy heritage, which kind of gave me this sort of deep interest that I wanted to explore. And although I've never kind of lived that life or been part of that community, I sort of felt like there was like a kind of deep interest to the community, and as a kind of photographer, filmmaker that's kind of into character and storytelling, it felt like a really kind of interesting thing to go and shoot.
Yeah. And what was it you wanted to tell through this film?
So to be fair, like turning up, there wasn't like a strict narrative from the start. It was more like it was just a curiosity that I wanted to explore. But then as I got there, so before I got to the kind of first fair that I shot, a lot of my colleagues and peers were sort of warning me don't take your equipment, and basically the sort of prejudice from the settled community was so strong from the start. And as I got to the fair and was just welcomed with such warm kind of hospitality, and people were just so open and friendly, it was just very, very obvious that people have got this community completely wrong.
Yeah, I think that you can tell they do welcome you with open arms, because they're quite they get into their stories quite personally, and I think they wouldn't be able to do that if they didn't feel comfortable in front of you.
100%.
So.
And it was kind of I wanted to go and shoot something, and then since that I've sort of continued the project for 2 years. The film was actually the first kind of 4 days of shooting of the project. And since that, and since I've got to know the community more and more, the project's just continued, and I've sort of wanted to tell the depth of the story a bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you continue doing other projects like this, maybe exploring a particular story, for example?
Yeah, so I'm a photographer, and this has actually becoming a photo book that's coming out in November, I think, with Ghost Books, who are a real...
Yeah, plug it.
Yeah, plug it. Who are a great publishing company. So it's it feels amazing that they've respected the work, and that the work's going to be seen by so many people, and that it's going to be in this encapsulated piece, and a really kind of high-end production, which I think the community deserves as well.
Do you think that Attitudes still have a long way to go with this particular community?
100%. Even now, I go into editorial meetings with people that are running newspapers and kind of picture editors in quite high roles, and there's still quite bad prejudice and quite a lot of racism towards the travelling gypsy communities.
I lived in Spain, and there was a big travelling community there, and I found that there was a lot of prejudice, even from teachers, for example, in the schools, which surprised me.
Yeah, 100%. Benny James, the guy in this picture, I had a great chat with him, and he was saying it kind of started, I was oh, how's school? It's horrible. I get put in a different classroom, kids aren't allowed to speak to me. Whenever anything goes wrong, he's the first one to sort of be blamed. And then I was oh, how's school now? And he's I've left, and he's 12. And that sort of experience that he's had has just made him say no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it doesn't encourage.
And then that's and I don't think that's an isolated story. I think that's kind of quite common throughout the community.
Yeah, no, definitely. How much footage did you have? Was it across a week, or was it longer? Or
so the visual footage we shot over 4 days at Appleby Horse Fair, which is one of the big meets in Europe. So yeah, we shot it. It was just me and a DOP, Cy Lakos, who's amazing, and we were just up all day from sunrise till sunset, just out meeting people and shooting the projects basically. And sort of as the days went on, we got more comfortable and everyone got to know us, and sort of the last day was the best day basically. We were welcomed into people's homes, into their caravans, and just giving a bit more of a real kind of glimpse into their life.
I'm amazed the kids that they all responded so well being in front of a camera. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't have expected that, you know.
Yeah, there's a real kind of like confidence. I think from chatting to a lot of the kids, I think they have to like grow up quick because of the way they're treated by like adults from outside of their community. It's sort of you just get the sense that it's like, I don't know, they're almost like they don't really get to have a proper childhood in a way, because of like they're just seen as with this prejudiced view by like a lot of the community, a lot of like the settled community.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything you'd like to add before we finish, or anything you'd like to plug for future projects?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's the book will be coming out, so that's with Ghost Books, and there's actually a Kickstarter running right now, so if you have an interest in the project, go and check it out. It's Pillar to Post through Ghost Books, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of it really. Just want to keep shooting more, kind of trying to help the community's perception with the settled population.
And film's a great way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, I think it's a community that's never really had that sort of honest portrayal yet. So I think it's kind of time for people to have a bit of a change on their opinions. And
other than Peaky Blinders, I literally can't think of any other representation.
I mean, it's like when you sort of start researching the media, it's like it's so bad. And there's actually like there's like records on the census of like in the 60s, like the community was quite like kind of welcomed by the settled population, and then now it's kind of completely the opposite. And it's sort of like media, like a lot of loss of common land where the communities would have sort of camped and stuff and settled. I don't know, it's a bit of a cycle.
Unfortunately. So we're going to have to wrap it up there. But thank you so much.
Great, thanks so much.